Good afternoon, it's Lorna, Programme Manager for Careers and Outreach for Maritime UK, and I'm joined this afternoon by David. David, can I ask you to start off by introducing yourself? Can you tell us your job title and who you work for, please?
Yes, indeed. I'm a Merchant Navy captain, and I did 30 odd years at sea in the Merchant Navy, but also as a Royal Naval Reservist, which I've been for 20 years. And in fact, my current role, I'm the Royal Navy's Merchant Navy Liaison Officer, so I wear two hats.
Perfect, thank you. And can we start off by exploring what drew you to the maritime sector in the first place?
Well, it was the lifestyle. I'll be honest with you, I met a chap I was a teenager with who had a great sports car of some time and 3 months holiday ahead of him, and was having the time of his life traveling the world, doing something really interesting, and only having to work half of the year. And that is the big plug. And indeed, that's what drew me to it. And indeed, from then on, the job was great and up and away, but it was the lifestyle.
Fantastic. And what was your route in, David? Did you start as a cadet, or did you go in on an officer training program? What was your route?
It was a cadetship. I was lucky to have the cadetship, and that's organised through the Merchant Navy Training Board. There's deck and there's engineer and the weapon. There are electrotechnical officer cadetships. I chose a deck cadetship, and that was with a company who were looking for people to work with their company. But there are many ways in the past, but it was a cadetship for me.
Right. And can I ask what your career highlight has been?
Well, I was able to be captain of the biggest ship in the world on a maiden voyage. I stood by in the shipyard in Korea, and I sailed a liquefied natural gas supertanker called the Moser. You can Google it, and that was bringing liquefied natural gas to the United Kingdom, which now supplies about a quarter of our energy requirements. So your electricity and the gas came on my ship.
Wow, that nearly rendered me speechless, and that doesn't happen very often. And who's been the most important person in your career journey, David?
It is a mixture. If you go away to sea, one of the big pluses about it is the people. You tend to think it's the places, it's the ship and all that stuff. No, it's the people. You work and you live and you socialise. You live your life with people very closely. And over my career, I have sailed with some absolutely super people. And what you do as your career develops, you cherry pick bits of their personality and their capability, their good points, and hopefully you absorb them, so that what you become is a mixture of all those good points of those fantastic people that you sailed with and you've got to know very well. And there's an old adage, if we see further today, it's because we stand on the shoulders of giants. So I like to think I'm a reflection of all those fantastic people that I've sailed with, and it is the people. If you say what's best about a career at sea, it's the people.
I think people always say that about places that they've worked, actually. They might not miss the last job, but they're always going to miss the people.
It's the people. And you know, there's places and the travel, and I got to be Captain Kirk on Star Trek. I mean, it was the best toy box you could ever imagine. The job hugely thrilling and all that. But when you sit back and you think about it, you think, my goodness me, it was a pleasure to sail with that person. That's the best bit.
Fantastic. Right, last question. So if you were able to give your 16-year-old self a piece of advice, what would it be?
Now here's a controversial one. There's deck cadetships and there's engineer cadetships, and I chose deck. The modern world, the future of the world is engineering. It's engineering, engineering, engineering. I can press the button, point the ship in the right direction and play captain. The truth of the matter is, these are amazing feats of technology, and the future of our planet is how we engineer solutions. If I was doing it all over again, I would be an engineer. You will find there's engineers are hugely in demand. And if you're an engineer, you can engineer the future of the planet. So in our world now, if I was doing it all over again, same job, absolutely, but I would choose engineering over deck. Not that deck's great, but for everyone who wants to be an engineer, the 7 want to be on the decks. There's a lot less competition. And my goodness me, there's no shortage of work if you're an engineer.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for giving us your time.
My pleasure, Lorna. Always delighted.